the region's MPs is calling for a national screening programme for type 1 diabetes in children. Sarah Bool, the MP for South Northamptonshire, was herself diagnosed with type 1 diabetes as an adult. Today she presented a bill to Parliament for universal testing to identify cases before symptoms emerge. She told me it would save lives, as some children are not diagnosed until they're very ill.
The serious complications of having type 1 when it's developed and actually is symptomatic is that you can go into a state of diabetic ketoacidosis, which can prove fatal. And what I really want to do is make sure that people are prepared and ready, and that families are ready, because type 1 is quite an enormous condition. Absolutely, it can be managed and you can be looked after properly, so I don't want to distress anyone, speaking from personal experience, but it does require a lot of work and a lot of attention. So I think the earlier that we can diagnose it, the easier it will be for families and for the patient themselves to manage.
It can be diagnosed at any age, can't it? Because you only found out relatively recently that you had type 1.
Yes, that's right. So I was diagnosed 5 years ago when I was 33, and it was a complete shock to me because I actually went to the doctors for something completely different. They're the 4 T's that we always talk about, which is tiredness, thin, toilet and thirst. But obviously when you have a little one, if they suddenly have a growth spurt, you might not necessarily notice if there's sort of weight changes, or if it's, hot, for example, and they're running around and they're more thirsty, you may not necessarily have clocked that that is actually type 1 when it is actually symptomatic. So really, the whole purpose of this is just sort of raise awareness of the 4 T's, which are definitely something all families should look out for, but also to try and make sure we capture type 1 before you even become symptomatic.
And one of the things you also would like is for there to be regular screening. Are there particular ages that you think that would be good to do?
If you were to do a sort of scan of someone and tested them when they are 3 to 4, for example, we would catch about 40% of the cases. However, if we could do 3 sets of tests, that's what the thinking is at the moment, we would catch up to 80% of children. Now, what we're thinking is that the age should be about 2 to 4, 6 to 8 and then 10 to 15 years old, and we think therefore that we could possibly catch 80%, but this is still something the medical departments are all working on, and I hope we'll have some more clarity as the time goes on.
And when you present a bill like this, whether it actually becomes law tends to depend on a number of things in Parliament, including government support. What is the mood music there?
I think the government is sort of supportive. I know the ministers on the front bench have been very receptive. I actually think talking about it is fantastic in itself, just making people aware. As I said, I had no knowledge about type 1 before I was diagnosed, and I don't want everyone else to miss it, so I want to do whatever I can.
Sarah Bool, thank you very much.
Thank you.